Okay, this is my how to build a bat house video. This bat house here is actually the second one that I built. The first one I built 3 years ago out of pine. It was kind of a beta test, and it lasted 3 years, but the paint started to peel and it started to come apart. It was a good design that I got off the internet. My wife actually found it on the internet, and we made it out of pine. We painted it. I put it together with wood screws so that it would stay together, and it did. As the wood started to rot, the bat house stayed together, and she counted up to 40 bats coming out of there at night using a night shot camera. She would sit it under the bat house and let it run at sunset until the battery went dead, and she counted up to 40 bats that lived in here. The house itself is supposed to hold up to 100 bats, but we never counted that many. I think a large part of the problem was the design, so I've modified this one. You can see it's not made out of pine anymore. This wood is called cambia. It's wood that's baked in an oxygenless oven, and it takes all the resin out of the wood and it makes it very durable. They make decks out of it. You're looking at about $75 worth of wood there. The other bat house had a problem. The bats would move out in July and August, and we live in Virginia, so I figured it was a temperature problem. So I made this slot bigger. I also opened it up on the top. There's a false roof in there that you'll see. I opened it up on the top so that the air could circulate all the way around. If you look down on the bottom here, I'll show you how many slots there are. By watching the bats on the camera, my wife determined that the optimum size for the slots in Northern Virginia is 3/4 of an inch and 1 inch. So we've got 4 3/4 of an inch slots and 2 1-inch slots. And we also eliminated this came down about 3 inches, and the bats had a hard time getting in there. So we made the landing base longer, and I removed that to make it easier for the bats to get in. I'm hoping that this one will last more than 3 years. On the top, I just went to Lowe's and got a piece of shingle that was laying around and put it on there, and that kind of helped keep things going. I'll take it apart now. As I said, the old one I assembled with screws. This one I didn't use screws because I've got it on a 20-foot pole in my backyard, and I can see it out my bedroom window, and the paint dimples on the screws bothered me a little bit. So this one I put together with a plate joiner. The tools I used to make this job, I used a table saw and mostly a plate joiner. That's about the only thing I needed. As you can see, it's not glued yet, so this top will come off. And these are the biscuits. You glue them with waterproof glue and it'll stay together forever. This is the false top. It's a roof that's in there. If you don't put that in there, you'll get hornet's nests and that sort of stuff all living up here. So that is the cambia wood that I was talking about. Beautiful wood. Now, as I turn this around, you'll see. Bye, Tom. As you turn that around, you can see a little bit better the slats that are in there that I built. But as I pull this apart, you have to be very careful when you're using the plate joiner to get everything measured properly. But as you can see, when I glue this together, it's going to go together pretty well. I used the table saw. You need to put this all over on the inside. You need to put these little grooves in there. I put them a 1/2 inch apart. I put them about a 1/16 inch deep, and the bats use that to climb up in there. And then up at the top here, this is one of the modifications I made. The old design, these slats went all the way up to the top. That only allowed the vent to ventilate the front section here, in that one I had a 1/2 inch, and turns out the bats didn't like a 1/2 inch of clearance. So these are 3/4 inch. I made a ventilation slot in there so that the air will circulate a little bit better, and I hope that the bats are going to move in and live a little bit longer. It's going to get glued today. I've got one more piece. No, that should do it. I'll take another video of it once it's up there. And I don't know if you can see this or not, but each of these little things fit in there like that. Next video when I'm mounting it. The dimensions of this were pretty simple. I just used stock lumber. The cambia comes, this is actually 9 1/4. So I bought I guess the nominal would be, this would be 1 by 10. I bought those planks, and these planks are 10.5, so I didn't have to join any wood. So you can see just by, without having to dimension the lumber at all, everything came out just fine. The other thing is that, I guess it would be nice to know the length of it. So this one is 33 inches to the bottom of the landing platform. The house itself is 22.25 inches, and the width works out to almost 11 inches. If you're planning on building one exactly this size, you'll see all kinds of them on the internet that are larger and smaller. But as I said, our beta test had 40 in it. I think with solving the cooling problem, we could get up to 100 living in here, so we're looking forward to that.